Welcome to Cosplay Stitch and Seam. Wow, I hesitated a minute. Welcome to Cosplay Stitch and Seam and our late Pride Month episode. I'm Pannon.
I'm Fire.
And I'm David.
Y'all. Welcome,
Woo!
David.
Welcome.
Fire.
Welcome,
Yeah.
Pannon.
Yeah. I am sad that we missed June because, life got incredibly hectic and we had illnesses abound and we just had incredibly busy schedules, but there's no reason not to be proud all year long. So we're doing it now, even though it's July. Gosh, where do we want to start off? We still need to do our other housekeeping. I'm just so excited about this episode.
It's gonna be a good one.
So if y'all at home, in our past Pride Year episodes, we have taken stories from y'all at home on how cosplay has been a big influence on finding your gender, your sexuality, just being able to explore in a welcoming community. So if y'all want to send us some of your own stories besides what we're going to share today, you can do that a bunch of different ways. The first is our email, which is cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com, or
you can go to the website and contact us through there at cosplaystitchandseam.com, or
go to the Facebook page. Hey, look at that. My voice is back.
it's back. Yay!
While on the Facebook page, let us know what you are working on. And if you're not a big fan of Facebook, you can also join our Discord community. We absolutely love our Discord community. We have so many great conversations. We have a whole little mini chat just for Tears of the Kingdom spoilers.
Yes.
Which I just want to say rolled credits 2 nights ago. I'm done. I can go back to my life.
Yay!
I'm avoiding it. Oh,
That's
man.
I'm also ADHDing all over the map. So
sorry, I was
What'd you
just are
say?
we talking about Tears of the Kingdom? No, let's go back to the Discord. Get
Go
to
back
that
to the
in a minute.
So if you want to come over, talk about any of the things we normally love to talk about, we talk about anime, we talk about manga, we talk about actual cosplay every now and again, all on the Discord. And while you're on the internet, if you want to help out the show, there are several ways that you can do that. First, just share the podcast with a friend. Second, leave us a review on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever they let you. Those always help the algorithm. And of course, if you have a few dollars burning a hole in your pocket, we do have a Ko-fi, K-O-F-I, Cosplay Stitch. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Cosplay Stitch. For $3 a month, you get a shout out on the show every single episode. And for $5 a month, you can join our
Cosplay Chronicles.
I love it. Love it so much. Every time.
I knew it was coming this time. I got it.
You were able to tense up, get ready for it.
Yep.
We played in
Brace
July
for it.
and it was a great session. I always love building the world in front of you guys and seeing how you guys react to that, because people who have been playing D&D for a long time, hey, I'm introducing a giant purple worm, and Dustin's eyes getting really, really wide and going, oh no, what are they doing to us? And then no, it's a mode of transportation, and then him going, what is this world? It's so great. I love it so much.
And me just going, yeah, that sounds great. I have no idea what this worm is, but yeah.
Terror.
Don't
It
fight
is
it.
terror.
Do not fight it. Do not. Anywho. Flashbacks to the war.
But yeah, if you want to join us in that fun, lovely story, David has told us all the many ways we can do that. The other thing y'all can do, if you have been working on your cosplays, you want to check out some makeup to try out on your cosplays, you can always go to foxbeauty.store and use the promo code Stitch and Seam to get 10% off your purchase of all vegan, not tested on animal products. Yeah.
So what are we talking about this month? We already mentioned it. We're talking Pride.
Yeah.
What are we talking about with Pride for our kind of retrospect?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think in years past, we've talked a lot about different ways that cosplay has been a big influence on helping people explore who they are. And I did still want to talk about that just between ourselves and since we started this podcast and where you are now and how that might have changed. But also, I did kind of want to talk about, it's different all around the world, so it depends on where you're listening from. But we here in the States are dealing with so much anti-LGBT, especially anti-trans legislation. And so we wanted to talk about like ways that you can get involved, how you can help with that, and how it affects our communities if we don't act. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Love it. So what I'm gonna throw this out there first and foremost.
Do it.
Not everybody is going to be in the alphabet mafia. Not everyone's going to identify in anything but themselves, and that's totally fine. That's totally valid, and you can still support other people. But I read this thing the other day of saying, if you are going to be supporting somebody, expect to have their mess on you. And that's how you know you're doing a good job, is that someone's going to come at you saying, like, with that same kind of intensity of questioning and whatnot, of like, you support this person, why do you support this person? And I think that's one of those good things that you can like, no, I'm here to make sure that other people have a voice. And so the idea that you can be an ally, you can support someone, but you need to be prepared that what that means is that you're going to get some of the same crap tossed on you. And it's hard and it's frustrating, but you also have to think about that's some people's everyday lives.
Oh, that's like an incredibly awesome point. I just wanted to yell the little like ally, and I'm like, oh no, this is a really serious and good point. I've actually found with like TikTok and Instagram and a few other like online communities, people have even started hosting like panels online to help people educate themselves on how to best protect minorities, whether it's like ethnicities or people of the LGBTQIA plus spectrum, or like just in general, people who are being like bullied and harassed and all kinds of stuff, and how best to be an ally and make safe spaces when there is hostile stuff going on. So I would just suggest seeking those kind of panels and whatnot out.
Yeah, love it.
But yeah, it's really honestly like inspiring to hear some of the stories of folks who have like been able to stand up for someone else, or even just like hearing more about like the day-to-day life of people who are dealing with this every day. Because like the more we learn and understand about what everybody else's circumstance are, the more we can be gentle and kind toward one another. And I just think like, I don't know, it feels like cosplay in a lot of ways because we never stop learning. Because like when we stop learning, we just stagnate and we get, stuck in these old ways and old habits. And when learning and understanding new things is just like opens so many windows and doors, opens our like emotional capacity, opens our knowledge capacity, like all of these wonderful things. So yeah, I'm rambling.
It kind of is a rambly topic. There is no, hey, this is what we learned today, or this is how you can apply a cross stitch seam over this thing. Like it's so much more broad, right? And we can't walk away and be like, all right, well, we've all learned our lesson. And like you said, we're always learning.
Yeah. And here's one I want to throw out there really quick. Like, I brought up some of this stuff to some, family members and whatnot, and immediately they got on the defensive of, well, I've never X, Y, or Z. And the first thing that you should do if you want to show that you're supportive is don't worry about saying I've never. Don't worry about defending yourself. If you haven't done those things, you don't need to say anything about it.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it sound like maybe you did, and you're trying not to look bad now. And maybe you did, but you've learned and want to be better and continue learning to do better too. And that's okay. It's okay to admit fault. Like, it's hard to admit fault, but I think you should.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
I think
it's fine to grow. Sorry.
yeah, no, that's a very good point. I think we've all made mistakes out of ignorance, and being open to learning, to hearing about others is only going to help. And if you are hearing someone like talk like that, where they're like, well, I haven't, it feels very much like they're centering themselves on that topic.
Mhm.
And I think one of the
it's
most
like, it's
important,
not about you.
right. And one of the most important things with being an ally is to realize that, like, you might do something amazing for someone in standing up for them or helping out, and it may never get like 1 million views on TikTok. But the point is that you did it, that you like helped someone, not that you got accolades for it. Like,
Yeah.
you are not the person being centered here. You are helping other people.
Like we have so many things going on right now that are it's really scary. There are states in the US that are making it harder and harder to thrive as yourself, let alone live as yourself. And
Can I make a sort of joke?
a sort of?
Just sort of. Was like there was frick. I think it's Florida. Florida's garbage. There was the convention. They had a wow, brain. You're doing great. It's not automorphs.
Transformers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That I'm like, it's not that word. Transformers convention, and they were like, there's now a law in place that you can't cross-dress at this convention. And I'm like, how are they going to know? Y'all are robots.
Trans is in the name, all right?
Yeah. It's like, how? Put a little voice changer in there. They ain't never going to know.
Gender in disguise.
Beautiful. I love it.
And like Panda was saying, like, it doesn't have to be something that you're doing for grand accolades, right? It should be something that you're just doing because you know it's the right thing to do. We see a lot of the performers and celebrities doing a performance or a concert in drag to protest a law, or
Heck yeah.
cursing the name of somebody who would be pushing forth such harsh legislation. And that's cool and that's fantastic. And it brings awareness to a very large audience. I'm not going to say that it falls short, but it's not an action plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say, having somebody dress in drag on stage to kind of protest that law. It's not an action plan. It's just bringing awareness. So you need to be aware of like, hey, what's my local community doing? How do I make sure that my community is safe here? And that's what cosplay really is just your community. And I did a Harley Quinn cosplay. That's one of my favorite characters. I love Harley Quinn. But if I can't go to a convention and rep one of my favorite characters, and it's, even though it's a gender bend version, it's still going to get ire. And we need to make sure that, like, how are we making sure that the spaces that we want to continue going to are going to be safe, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you?
Definitely. That's a very good point. Let's talk about something fun and positive for a sec. Let's talk about, like, how has cosplay helped you on your personal journeys? Like, I honestly was just like, for the last few days, been thinking about like what would be a good like talking point for this episode, and going back through the past years, and like, one, I can't believe the podcast has been going this long. It's
oh my gosh,
crazy and awesome.
I know.
But two, like, I feel like I have learned so much just from when we started it, both from understanding the experiences of the people that we talk to, and also for myself. So I just wanted to ask how that journey has been for y'all.
Do you guys remember when we did the salon episode? We all went to the salon before
Heck yeah.
Bonsai.
Yeah.
I think about it every now and again of like, you asked me like, what's it like? What would you say to other masculine presenting people, or people who are have this reservation against going to a salon. And I said something like edgy, like, woman up or something like that. And like, I think about that remark, and like, I stand by it, because I think that there is a lot to like, for those very masculine men type characters, should learn what it means to be a woman in everyday life right now. Like, it's not easy. But also there's like so many better ways to probably say it. And that's one of those things of just like being part of this great community who has so many different experiences, and all of the fantastic people that we've brought on to the podcast to listen to theirs. It's definitely like opened my eyes to, broadening my own horizons of information and experiences. Like when we did makeup on a couple of our live streams, I loved it. I've never had a problem against makeup, but it was always one of those like, yeah, that's for everyone. I'm okay putting it on, but now like I love putting on makeup. It is one of my favorite things to do. Like put on a little lipstick. I went to a wedding a little while ago. I had this fantastic smoky eye. I was very proud of it. I had just a very basic eyeliner. It was so good. I was so proud of what I had done, and it was my makeup. I wasn't borrowing it from somebody else. And I think one of the things that cosplay has really helped me with that is just opening up like, no, you need this for this costume, or you need this for that reason. And it just became I don't need it for a specific reason. I can have it because I want it. And that's definitely opened my eyes to my own gender journey.
Nice.
And I've definitely found that I am more gender fluid than anything else.
Nice.
So it's been an interesting journey as we've kind of gone through, and I've listened to the people that we've talked to and our community of people, especially the body positivity panels that we've done, where it's all about how do we make it as inclusive as possible for everybody, not just people with a visible or invisible disability, but also for those groups of people who are oftentimes on the outs. So yeah,
Nice.
this has just kind of helped me understand like, oh, I'm not a man some days. Some days I'm very manly. I fixed my AC unit. I am the manliest man right now. I need you to understand. I am very strong he, him. But tomorrow I may not be he, him.
Have you guys seen Nimona
I
yet?
love it.
I have.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. I'll just my favorite line is, are you a little boy? I am today.
Oh my god. Resonated with me.
Relatable. Very.
And that backwards walk afterwards, just like, I love that show. Watch it, guys. Watch it. It's good. Read the comic too. I have the physical copy. Speaking of which, that comic has actually stuck with me a long time, and while I have not cosplayed from it, that I want to be Nimona. I would love to be able to just shapeshift and be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Tell us about like Nimona and how your other cosplays have like helped you, I guess, find who you are. And like since the start of this podcast, like I know the first couple episodes, or the first year or so, I don't think it was until you opened up and told us about like your journey with your gender identity. Do you want to talk about that?
I think people have heard it before, though.
Oh,
When we're always gaining new listeners, it's always good to reiterate. Like,
yeah,
we have to assume this is going to be somebody's first episode.
yeah.
I guess so. So, for me growing up, like, it's always been, Mercedes can be the prince. You know, like all my friends would be playing like princess games, and they need a prince to rescue them. So I'd be the prince. I'd be the one that's brave enough to brave the snake. We had this old snake game. It gave me a heart attack every time it jumped at me. Loved it. But like just did a lot more with the boys, and like just still felt, girly sometimes, but definitely wasn't like full girl, definitely wasn't full boy either, kind of thing. And getting into cosplay, like one of my first costumes, not the first one, but one of the first was of course Link. And again, bless my husband for still sticking around and dating me for forever and then marrying me. By the way, it's been 10 years.
Yay!
Congrats.
Congratulations!
Yay.
Holy freaking crap. But, for him to drop me off at my first convention of me wearing Link and he still stuck around with me, I love that. But getting to explore that side of me and be like, well, what is it like to be a dude? And then realizing more of the the fluidity of it, and having someone refer to me as he or they, and just finding joy in that.
Mm-hmm.
And none of it sounds wrong to me, and I like that. And cosplay, I don't think I would have been able to figure that out without cosplay, without having a chance to just let myself go and get out there and try new things. And I don't know, I like it. I've definitely gone, I think over this past year, a little more feminine, but I think if I got back in the convention scene again, which I'm taking kind of a small break from, I think I'd be right back into Link cosplays, especially with Tears of the Kingdom right now. Yeah. Did you know that they purposely made Link
androgynous?
Androgynous. There you go. That was the big word. The non-binary big word, androgynous. Yeah, they purposely did that for him so that he could relate to more, have more people be able to connect. And I found that very, very appreciative. I love Link.
I think for me, that was definitely a word I struggled with, is androgyny, because when even these days when you see that presented, you see it in media with specific body types. And I think one of the hardest hurdles I've had to overcome, and something I still kind of struggle with, is am I having body dysmorphia because I don't feel at home in the gender that I'm in, or am I having body dysmorphia because of the weight that I'm carrying? Is it because my body type, internally I want to feel that androgyny, what is it, stereotype, but my body doesn't match that at all. And so I guess for the longest time, I felt like that was a really big hurdle for me, because it is so hard to mask those things when you have a larger body. And just in the years since I started cosplay, there have been so many ways for all body sizes to feel more comfortable playing with gender, and different kinds of support you can wear, different kinds of clothing to help you feel more at home in your body, which I think is fantastic. But yeah, I think that's something I still struggle with, is in my head, androgyny is very much something that I love as an aesthetic, and I want for myself, but I get so down on myself if I try to wear clothing that is portrayed as androgynous or classically androgynous, and I don't match the picture in my head. There's a lot of dissonance. And I think just realizing that there's no one way to be androgynous is a big step. I was even watching some recent I can't remember if it was Project Runway or another one of those fashion type shows, because I like seeing people make stuff. But every so often they'll have a theme where it's androgyny, and some of the designers really get it, and they go for this challenge and they make something that anyone can wear. And some people are still stuck on the idea of well, I'm going to put a femme presenting person in a masculine costume, and I'm going to put a masculine presenting person in a dress. And I don't think it has to, there are so many ways it can be. And I think to put it in a box is completely the opposite of what androgyny means to me. Where it's I can feel completely fluid in my gender and how I want to present and play with gender in a given day.
Yeah.
But like restricting it to just like a singular clothing aesthetic is, I think, just doing the same with the idea of non-binary
It's so much more than
or
that.
gender fluidity. Yeah. So sorry if this sounds like rambly. I'm just like off the dome here, but
You're good.
that's one thing.
We love you.
Yeah, that is one thing I've struggled with, and but cosplay and like specifically like tailoring and things like that in general have really helped me to feel more at home in my body, and also like I don't know, like realizing that those fashion aesthetics I was going for can also be altered in ways that still feel true to that gender identity for me, even in the body that I currently have, you know? And it's just kind of like a cosplay magic.
Cosplay magic is so magical.
Yeah. And it, like, I still have so much fun with picking new costumes to wear, new characters, and things that I get excited about. And I've just found like I'm excited about them regardless of gender, because I just get so excited about the clothes that they're wearing. And it doesn't matter so much gender. It just matters that I have that like thrill about embodying that character, you know? So for me, that's what a lot of the like fluidity and like gender euphoria comes from, is like finding that like I just feel like wonderful no matter like what character or what gender that character is. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Yes, that right there. Exactly. I love that.
So like I will love feeling like pretty as Sailor Moon, but also love pretty as like my whatever Dawn May or other things I'm watching with boys kissing in it because I like being a boy.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in the middle with like shows like She-Ra where you have a character like Double Trouble. I was just like, that is the thing I want to cosplay because they just like they embody like this like just fluidity with their gender that appealed to me so much, you know, being able to like change your appearance and like sneak in different places, and no matter what, being able to feel like, I don't know, like yourself is just an amazing idea to me.
Like so, to add to that, like we get in Breath of the Wild, Link has to put on women's clothes to get into the women's town, and like people are going to be like weird about it because that's what they're like questioning about it. Like this isn't normal to them, which is weird because it's 2023 and we've been seeing, you know, cross-dressing, let alone drag or transvestites, like for literally centuries now. And like Zelda didn't have a problem with it. Link didn't have a problem with it. The only people who had a problem with it was the people who like, oh, you broke our rules. That's the problem. We don't want men here. Like, and like it was just a costume. It was a means to an end for this one character, but like it wasn't a big deal. It's like, nah, I've got to wear a costume. I got to get the information. It's not the end of the world. It boggles my mind that we have so many different people who are so upset about self-expression or just living your best life. You were talking earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you because you were making a really great point, Pannon, but about
somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm just kind of like looking at a character and like, oh, I want that, and it's just like, and to add to Mercedes of like shape-shifting abilities, I get boob envy so bad sometimes. I'm just like, I would have great boobs. I would have great boobs. I don't want boobs all the time. I know what they do to my back. I couldn't handle it, but. Like, it'd just be like, ooh, if I could rock that costume. Like, I went to a Fall Out Boy concert the other day, and there was this person wearing this adorable top, and it was just like, I want that for my wardrobe. I need that. But if I had boobs, it would make everything look so much better on me. Like, just
I have to share something. There's a webcomic called Death Rescheduled. I love reading it, mostly because Kasei is my favorite character. Minor spoiler, Kasei is a special kind of human being. They can change their gender at will. And it's not like boom boy or boom girl. It's, I'm going to be 10% manlier. And then 10% manlier. It gets a little bit broader shouldered and things like that. Or, all right, let's go 30% feminine.
Ugh.
And then boobs.
I want that.
And I'm like, Kasei, I want to be you so bad. It's amazing. It's for those, if you're interested in reading it, it is a little gory because it is called Death Rescheduled. It's in a world where you can kill a person once a year. It's a little violent, but it's great characters. Great characters. I love them.
I love this idea because then you kind of like, Robert in the office, he's really getting on my nerves. I could use it for Robert. I could. But we're only at the halfway point, and like I might get over it. This is just office drama and politics. Do I save it or do I use it now? I just
I think I really resonate with that like percentages thing you were talking about, where I'm like, I don't feel like completely a girl today, but I also like don't feel like male, and just want to like float somewhere in between, like a nice little blissful 30-70. This sounds great. Sounds great.
It was really cool. I was at a women's conference, educators women's conference kind of thing a few years ago. This might have been 5 years ago now. But they had in one of the panels that I went to, they had a like paper that they put up on the wall, and it said, grab a sticker and place you where you feel like you fit the most. And it was a male to female ratio. And it was very comforting seeing how many people like went along the spectrum rather than picking one end or the other.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Did you ever watch Fleabag?
No.
It's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and she is fantastic. It started out as a one-woman show about a character named Fleabag, and it got turned into like a 2-series thing on Prime. I highly recommend checking it out. But the first episode is the main character and her sister are at a women's conference, and the host basically says like, hey, I want to ask this question, and I'm always nervous to ask this, but I feel like this is the best crowd to ask it in. Who's uncomfortable in their body? And the two characters, they raise their hands and nobody else does. And they're like, that's because, your body is yours to love. And they're kind of like, oh, we're bad feminists. No. It's so funny. I love that show so much. I will sing Fleabag's praises until the end of the earth.
That sounds so great.
So one of the things that I talked about this before we hit record, and I fear saying words like this because they can come across as like, hey, I'm inciting the worst opportunities and possibilities. But I ended the D&D game. I usually end it with a quote saying something along the lines of like, may all your dice rolls be interesting, because it's always more fun when, you have failures and then successes. If you're having nothing but successes, it gets boring. You need challenge to overcome. But this month I ended it with, we are, now that June is over, that means Pride is over, and it is now time for Wrath. And I think that comes across as like, it's time to start a war. And no, I think it's time to remember how Pride began. And it started as a riot. I've been to where the Stonewall riots began, and it's a very beautiful place in Hell's Kitchen. It's very quiet, it's very peaceful, it's very queer, and I love that about it. The space, like you hear Hell's Kitchen, you think Daredevil, and you're just like gritty crime all over the place. It's one of the most like gayest locations that I had been to in New York, and I loved every second of it. It was fantastic. But it's time for us to make our voices heard. It's time to call our local representatives, making sure that we're out supporting those who need it the most. It is out where we call the people who are going to make those decisions on our behalf. It is time to make sure that we are voting for somebody who has our best interests in heart. Because we're seeing half of our country, at least, and in other places, it's outrageous. Italy's got a whole thing going on right now that we don't have enough time to get into. But like, the power is in us. And if we are not acting out of the rage that we feel because of the mistreatment of our friends, families, and just people that are trying to live their lives, everyone deserves a life. Everyone deserves a life. And if we are not getting upset by that, then it's time to like, where are my priorities? And having the priorities of being enthusiastic and vocal about support, that is our wrath. And that is how we need to make sure we're getting out there every day. And I'm also rambling, and I'm saying the same thing over again. So feel angry, use that anger as motivation. To make it nerdy, there's the Sith prayer, the Sith mantra, and they say, peace is a lie, there is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory.
Nice.
There is nothing wrong with being driven by your passions. This is a cosplay podcast. It combines my passion of talking to strangers and doing cosplay. My passions have led me here. Your passions to lead to a better world.
Nice. I just wanted to give a shout out as to, like, I know we hear a lot of the time, get involved, get out there, get mad, get your voice heard. And some people just don't know where to start. But I wanted to start off with a way that's really easy and is especially good for my introverted buddies, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a feature on your text messages called ResistBot. Anywhere in the US, you can text to the number 50409. That's 50409. You can text the word resist, and it will give you a list of different things going on in your area that you can lend your voice to. Mm-hmm. It will automatically generate like emails in your name. It will, like call or text your local representatives. It will keep you updated on things that are like happening. Mm-hmm. And I just love that as a feature. There's a whole bunch of different prompts. You can just ask what's going on, and it will like tell you things that are coming up for vote or like places you can be. But yeah,
that's another thing too with the voting is like you can look up your local, representatives and who's running where and see what they have, what platforms are they running on. I remember watching this video a while back. You guys can look it up. It's hilarious. Called, I don't know, just look up "Boo, Ben Cannot Boo." But it's so funny because there's this politician outside trying to like talk about something, and this guy is just on his porch just yelling out, "Boo, Ben cannot boo, liar, boo." It's hilarious. But the guy is super well informed. Like, he doesn't look like he would be someone that would be well informed on this kind of stuff. He's wearing a cap that has like a beer logo on it. But like the dude, like when they go and interview him, he's like, yeah, I don't like him for, these things. He said he was going to run on this kind of platform and he doesn't. And he was going to stop after this many years and da-da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. Like, we can be that too, minus the beer cap. I mean, if you want that, fine. But, but, it's like you could surprise yourself at how well knowledgeable you can become.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you want a good laugh, look up that video. It's great.
Nice. I would also look into, I think that's a really good point, is looking for reliable sources of news. One of my favorite on TikTok is Under the Desk News.
Oh, you're great.
Hosted by V. And they're just amazing in reaching out to others to use their platform to like lift other voices, is a good way to like stay on top of things that are going on, both like mostly in the US, but also V covers like stuff all over the world. It's just a really great personality to listen to too.
Who's that guy with the crowbar? And
oh my gosh,
stuff
yes.
still happens.
Stuff happened. I love him.
I saw a TikTok of like, if you had told me in 2022 or 2020 even that like my most trusted news sources would be a person under their desk, a guy with a crowbar, and a AI voice generated talking fish from SpongeBob.
From SpongeBob.
Yeah, I would have questioned what happened to media. But like, yeah, there's so many great voices out there, and try not to get it all from one source. It's hard to say because there are some sources out there that are there to scare you. And like, I love listening NPR. I always feel like NPR is a little bit more neutral on things. Philip DeFranco, he definitely lets his opinion show every now and again. But you know, there are people out there that can kind of diversify that same fact of this is what's being reported. Here's the sources that we pulled it from, and everything along those lines kind of helps determine what is the end of the story. You know, and that's always frustrating because we want our media to be as unbiased as we can when it comes to reporting the news, but shock sells, and if they can make a shocking story, that's what they're going to sell you sometimes.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Check those resources.
Definitely.
But yeah, gosh, I feel like those are some like really great ways to get involved. I have seen, depending on who you follow on like different platforms, they will tell you like what protests are happening at different states, different times. But even just like keeping yourself informed, whether you are part of our lovely rainbow family or if you are just wanting to be supportive, the knowing what's going on is going to help you know better how to act to help those in need. I love my family dearly, but a lot of them don't stay abreast of the news, and so I will like have some weekly chats with some of my siblings and just go, hey, just so you know, this is going on. And some of them will be like, well, I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know this had come up. That makes me angry. I'm like, it should make you angry.
Yeah, good.
You know? So, like, yeah, like just spreading the word and letting your friends know how best to support you, letting the people around you know that how important it is for them to stay on top of things. I know we put a lot of pressure and onus on ourselves, but like making sure people around us are informed is a tough job. Yeah. You know, but really important that we know what's going on in the world around us.
I do think that there is there's the Bo Burnham song of That's How the World Works. And it's like, hey, what can I do to make the world better? And it's a sock puppet, and it says, I don't know, man. It's not my job for your self-actualization. Either get with it or get out of the way. And like, we're trying to help as best as we can. And we're just trying to get with it. We really are. Some days we might fail, and we have to learn. Like, we're probably going to hit some things that makes people uncomfortable, or in 5 to 10 years, we're going to like, oh, wow, our information was really outdated. We now know more. But that's the thing is like, we're still trying to get with it. It is an active process. And like Pan says, you got to keep learning. There's a proverb that I read recently. You grow old when you stop learning. So make sure that you're still learning and you're still willing to learn. And that's, yeah, I could be on the soapbox all day, you guys. I'm here. I'm hunkered down. I'm like one of those people that lives in the tree to avoid it from getting chopped down. This is my soapbox, and this soapbox ain't going nowhere.
You look down at his soapbox and it's like, how did he nail it to the concrete?
Don't question it. Don't question it. But this is nailed down.
Also, like, it's cardboard.
I am very thin.
Mercedes, anything you want to add?
God, there be you, and we love you. That's it.
We do. That's a good sentiment to end on. Is like pride was a riot, but it's also about like loving one another, loving ourselves, and loving the world around us enough to want to make it better. So I hope that's something we can all do, with not just in the month of June, but year round, because we need that pride, we need that happiness, we need even that gay wrath, we need that year round, we need that energy. So yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for letting three weirdos talk about about this, and it's heavy. We recognize that, and it's hard to see the positive, but again, cosplay is a community, and these people are here to celebrate you and your accomplishments.
Love it.
I can't say that, dang it. Heck to the yeah.
Yeah. I can sit through this. Yeah.
I just want like a little like rainbow sparkly noise to be the thing that edits that out.
I'll see what I can find.
Just keeping on theme.
Like a little wind chime kind of thing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So again, y'all, if like our door open always, our windows open. I can't words, but
internet windows.
We're always yeah, that's, I guess that works. But anyway, we are always open to hearing from you. It doesn't matter the time of year. Please share your stories. Like, we want to hear from you. We want to hear how cosplay has helped you grow as a person, how it's helped you find yourself, how it's helped you find a community that makes you happy. You can do that a number of different ways. First is our email. That's cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com,
or go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam.com, and you can fill out our forms there, or
go to the Facebook page. Tell us what you're working on. Join our fantastic community, work in progress people. We have new people joining every single day, and it's always inspiring to see, hey, I'm asking for help on this. I need that. I don't know what I'm doing. And so many great people are coming to answer those questions. And if you want something a little bit more faster paced, and by faster paced, I mean not a snail's pace that is Facebook, but just more instantaneous, there is Discord. It doesn't move that fast. It's easy to get caught up. It's not overwhelming. I've been in so many Discord servers that are like, you join and the thread of conversation has changed six times. So it's a great place. It's a great community. Come join us. And if you're on the internet and you want to support the show, leave a review, stars, whatever. Those are always going to be helpful. Share the podcast with a friend. We have a Ko-fi, KOFI, Cosplay Stitch, and a Patreon. That's patreon.com/cosplay stitch. Some of the amazing people on our Patreon that we need to thank are Jack S, Delayed Cosplay, Cynthia Eve Cosplay, Starfetcher, Mace, Troft Cos, Lydia, Rose Does, Yggdrasil, Dr. Steggy, Cynics, Hot Riku, Rena Mira, Jazzy Kofed, Jaguar Queen, Gloria Shu, Sudi, and Silver Deeds.
Oh yeah. Thanks, as always, to Macy Roberts for the use of her music as our theme song. And big thanks to David Jeffress for putting up with us and his awesome editing. How are your podcasts going, David?
They are going really good. Tears of the Kingdom has ruined my life, so not a lot has been gotten done, unfortunately.
Except your own enjoyment and relaxation and
You're
fun.
Absolutely right.
Yes,
Can I tell you how much COVID allowed me to play extra video games? It was great. For Comic Trades Monthly, we had read 8 Billion Genies. However, I highly recommend going back to our older episode called Genderqueer, a memoir by Maya Kobabe. E has written a fantastic story of Ear's life, and it is a hard one to read, but it is a very good one. I also recommend Flamer and Nick and Charlie. We have not covered those books, but they're comic books and they're about the queer experience, and I cannot recommend them enough. And then The Last Voice season 3 is in progress. Maybe, I don't know, I have not had a life to work on it lately, so season 3 will happen soon. I eventually, maybe. I don't know.
We love you. Be gentle on yourself.
Definitely.
I have some ridiculous puns for you. On a forum, people were trying to describe bisexual, and the definition they came up with was the ability to consensually reach down someone's pants and be satisfied with whatever you find. But whatever you find is a pretty broad definition. I personally, this is someone replying, I personally would not be satisfied if I found, say, an alligator in my partner's pants. Genitalia are cool, carnivorous reptiles are not. And someone else replies, is pansexuality not caring if you do find an alligator? And then the last comment, which was my favorite, if the alligator is no longer alive, is it a reptile dysfunction?
Oh,
that's so good. That's good.
Yeah. And then, when I came out to all of my friends, I couldn't keep a straight face.
That one took me a while to kind of get because I just wasn't thinking straight. I was thinking more bisexual at the time.
Hey. Happy Pride, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. So I got a couple of punny... Oh, I'm not there yet. Sorry, David. Thanks,